Okay, today I'm going to demonstrate how to make the plaster cast mask. We will have previously cut the plaster into strips. Remember that the plaster is on pieces of gauze, and if you treat the strips roughly, the plaster will drops off the gauze. So we want to protect getting that onto the floor. So before you start, please put the newspaper down on your table and put the strips on the newspaper so that when you're done at the end of the hour, you can pick up the newspaper carefully and put it into the trash. It takes warm water to do this successfully and set the plaster. So one person will be applying the plaster mask to your partner, and some people, extra people in the room, will be running and getting warm water, exchanging the water that's cooling with the warm water, so you always have a nice supply of warm water on the table to work with. To prepare the person, you want to make sure that you cover them up because it's going to be grouping. I brought in some large bags. You may use my bag, or you may bring in a large shirt and put it on to protect your clothing. But a bag works fine. The next thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that the plaster is not going to stick to the skin. So you're going to put a very thin layer of Vaseline on the face. Not too much. If you put too much Vaseline on the face, the plaster strips will slide off. We just want a thin layer so that we get a good release. In order to do that, take a little bit of Vaseline on your finger, put it into the palm of your hand, rub it around to thin it out, and apply it to your model's face. Remember, you are making their mask. Be sure to make sure you get it on the eyebrows, the eyelashes, and the rest of the face. Take the rest of the Vaseline and just get rid of it. You don't need it. Remember, it takes a very small amount. Okay? So when you're ready, you have your plaster strips on your newspaper on your table, you have your warm water, and you have your model protected. You're going to dip the strip into the warm water and apply it to the face. You're going to apply it everywhere on the face eventually except the nostrils so they can breathe. It's a very strange feeling, so we're going to start with the exterior of the face and work our way in. Okay? The very last place you're going to place the gauze strips is down the center of the nose, around the nostrils, so that they're comfortable breathing for the whole time. Simply dip it in the water, apply it, and rub it. You'll notice that when I rub it, the little holes in the plaster strips disappear, and it completely forms the face of the subject. So the tiny holes will all be filled in, and you'll get a solid plaster strip. Again, I work on the exterior of the face first, till the person becomes comfortable with the feeling. You don't want to talk to the person when you do this, because if you talk, a person will tend to want to react. If they react, their facial features will change. We want to make sure that the inside of our mask is a perfect replication of their face. Because not only are we making a plaster mask of the person, as soon as you have your plaster mask, we're going to be placing clay in it, getting a small miniature of your face. Then this clay will go into the kiln where it shrinks slightly when it becomes more solid. And then we will be painting this piece, and you will have a small miniature of your face as a paperweight in addition to the plaster mask that we're going to build on to make our paper mache masks. So you're getting two masks. So you need the inside of the mask to be a good replication of the face. So again, you're not going to talk to the person so that you don't have to worry about their facial expressions changing any movement. The only problem areas you have to be careful of is the hairline. You don't want to catch the hair in it. The eyebrows. Your eyebrows grow from the center of your face out. Remember, the gauze has holes in it. We don't want to catch the hair in the holes. So you're going to take the strip and you're going to place it in the middle of the face and you're going to move it in the direction that it grows and do one eyebrow. Show you on one side of his face. Into the center, moving it out, stop, and now I'm going to use an outward motion. Just move down this one in the direction that the hair grows. I'm going to do the other eyebrow, starting in the middle of the face, moving out, and using an outward motion to seal the gauze. I'm going to take a strip, dip it in the water, and fold it in half so that it's smaller. And now I'm going to place it on his eye and pull it down so I do not catch his eyelashes. Fold it in half, do the other eye. Up, then down. Again, so that the eyelashes fall flat and smooth underneath the gauze. We're not trapping them in the plaster. As soon as you've done that, you can attach them to the other pieces, rubbing them together. Yeah, I could use that one just a little bit better. Go back to the exterior and start working my way in on the face now. Rubbing each piece. Eventually I will change direction of the bandages. If I start doing them in one way, I'm going to change to the other way to give it strength. So I'm going to place this one up and down. Now I'm going to place this one across it in the opposite direction, giving it strength. I'm going to do the top of his nose. Remember, I'm going to avoid the nostril area until the very end, so that he's comfortable. You want to make sure that you have a nice thick layer around all the edges. You're going to be using the edges to grab onto it to remove the mask when it sets up. I'm going to go around all the edges and reinforce them, and then I'm going to go across the face, feeling it for weak spots. It's starting to set up. Okay, now I'm ready to do between the nostrils. It's a very narrow area. So you're going to take the strip, and you're going to fold it in half, and in half, or in thirds, depending on how much space you have. And you're going to place it up and down the nose, down to the lip area, to the top of the nose. And then you're going to secure it going in the opposite direction underneath. And on the edge of the nose. And now I'm going to just check on the definition of the side of the nostrils. Again, not closing in the nostrils, just the edges, so that I have a nice shape at the inside of the nose. When you're making your plaster mask later, you'll probably want to close in the nostrils. It's very easy to do later with a piece of tape and then paper mache over it. Right now we're just making sure our shape is defined. If you have any plaster strips left at the end of the hour, just return them to me. We all have different size faces. Some people will require a little extra, some will require a little less. So if you use less, give it to me and I'll have it available for anybody who needs a little bit more. While the person is setting up and it's getting firm, this is time for you to clean up a little bit. There's two things you need to do. Of course, first rinse your own hands off. There'll be paper towel by both sinks. There'll be a mirror at both sinks for people when they wash up. I will have a facial soap by the sink, but if you prefer to wash your face with a specific face product, make sure you bring that in. If you do not want to dry your face with paper towel, you'd like to use a towel, I suggest you bring in a small hand towel or a washcloth. A large towel is kind of cumbersome. I will have towels here, but they will be used by other people. That's not very sanitary. So I suggest if you do not wish to use the paper towels, you bring in your own towel and your own facial products, right? All right, remember what I said. Little plaster strips fall off the plaster while you're making it. So you're going to return any unused pieces to me, then you're going to take the newspaper where you had your plaster strips and carefully fold it up capturing those little fragments of plaster, fold it up and put it into the trash so that it doesn't get on the floor. Because if it gets on the floor and we walk on it, it becomes airborne and you'll be breathing it. Okay? I will have all the plaster that is on the floor mopped at the end of the day, but it's going to be there for the entire day, so you want to keep as much off the floor as we can. Can you throw that for me? Next, at the end, there is plaster in your water bowls. You do not want to put the plaster down the sink, but you do want to put the majority of the water down. So you're going to take your water bowls to the sink and pour off the majority of the water until it becomes very cloudy. The cloudy liquid at the bottom, you're going to leave in the bowl. For now, get yourself a small piece of paper towel. Take your bowls and you're going to add that really cloudy water into the trash can. We have bags in the trash can to collect it. Empty it in. You can see all the plaster that's left in the bowl. Just take the paper towel and wipe it out, getting it ready for the next class. Remember, you don't want to put all this plaster down the sink. It will clog them up. So whether you're making a mask here or at home, throw away the really heavy plaster water. Just empty the water off the top of it. While you're doing that, your person is setting up. You'll be able to feel that it's getting hard. We're going to lift this off. In order to lift it off, I'm going to put my fingers on under each side and rock it. So I'm going to put it on either side of the mask and rock it off. He's going to keep his eyes closed. You're going to lead your person to the sink with their eyes closed because there's plaster on his face. And if he opens his eyes, he'll get plaster in his eyes. Right? So until he has a chance to rinse the face, his eyes need to stay closed. Hands under each side. Gently rock. And we have a perfect miniature of his face, exterior and interior. Set it down on the table. Carefully gather the wet. You can set it on the floor so you have a chance to take it off. You need to stand up. This is my hand and my other one. I'm going to lead you to the sink and put your hands on the edges of the sink. There it is. I want you to know that to the right here is the soap. I'm going to get the water to the right temperature for you. There you go, dear. Start washing. Any questions? Okay. The last thing you're going to do is you're going to take their mask and on the outside, not the inside, on the outside with a pencil, write his name. I'd write Andres and a 3 for period 3 or 4 for period 4. On the outside. You do not want to do it on the inside because remember, we're going to pull the clay mask out and we don't want the name scratched into this. And that's what will happen. You'll get that pattern. So you're going to put it on the outside. And you'll just wait till they're cleaned up so they can put it away in their bin. And that's it. Thank you.